Not seeing yourself how God sees you can cost you your purpose. It can cost you your promise. We find this in Numbers 13, how God gave the children of Israel instructions to go in and they were to possess the land. They were to possess the promise. But because of fear and unbelief, some drew back. Now, there were some that had a God perspective and they said, we can do this. We can take this land. We can have what God said. But there were some who didn't see themselves the way God saw them or said to them that they are. Can you relate to that in any way? Sometimes God has promised you something. Sometimes God has said certain things concerning you. And this deals with vision, how we see ourselves. And they begin to say, we were as grasshoppers in their eyes, meaning in the adversary's eyes, those that were to oppose them. But then they said something else that was very interesting. They said we were as grasshoppers in their eyes. But then this is the thing that really set them up for failure, because ultimately it's not what your adversary, your opponent, that trial, that test, that situation comes to say to you. It's what you say about yourself, because as long as it's on the outside, then you still are okay. But it's when we allow the negatives on the outside to encroach us or to enter into us, become on the inside. They said we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes. So they allowed the losing perspective or the negative or lesser perspective to enter in them. It's okay to recognize that everybody's not going to see me how God sees me. Everybody's not going to expect great things out of me. They did that with Jesus. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? It's okay to recognize where people are concerning you, what their thoughts are concerning you. We need to be aware, right? We need to have that vision where we look out and we see what others say, what others think, right? Jesus asked the disciples, who do men say that I am, right? And then he said, who do you say that I am? Because how you see me is going to affect what you're able to do for me. This is essentially what Jesus was getting at. And so even with them in Numbers 13, they said we were as grasshoppers in our own eyes, in our own sight. I want to ask you something. What vision do you have of yourself? What thought process, what perspective do you have of you? Because ultimately, it's not what others think about you. It's not what others envision about you. It's what you envision about yourself. Do you see you how God sees you? Do you see you winning? Do you see you succeeding? Do you see you advancing? Because if you don't, it's time to get a God perspective. It's time to change your view, right? It's time to adjust your vision and see yourself how God sees you and see yourself winning. This is how God sees you. And this is what God wants for you. He wants you to win, and he wants you to see yourself winning, because that's what he sees concerning you.